Welcome to Coffee with the Supervisor. I'm Ed Romaine, Brookhaven Town Supervisor. I have a special guest today, Brian Rooney. Brian is the Veteran Service Coordinator?
Officer.
I know he serves with Suffolk County, and Brookhaven Town has an agreement with Suffolk County so that we would have some professionals, such as Brian, assigned to our town to help our veterans. Brian is available in Town Hall on Mondays and Fridays from 9 o'clock to 4:30. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about what he deals with. But essentially, he's there to help all the veterans and their families with service-related issues, with benefits, things of that nature. He is at 631-451-6574?
Yes, sir.
6574. So feel free to give a call, leave a message, or stop by and visit. Brian, you're a veteran service officer.
Yes, sir.
You served 12 years in the Navy.
Yes, sir.
And you were stationed here in Town Hall until about 2019, and I think Uncle Sam tapped you on the shoulder, and they deployed you over to the Persian Gulf. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And your job there was to protect our merchant fleet from attacks by pirates or others.
Yep.
And you were there 2019, 2020?
I was there from 2019 to about March of 2020.
And now back here in Suffolk County, serving veterans. So tell us, what does a veteran service officer do?
So what we do essentially is we're advocates to help veterans transition when they come back from service. Also helping other veterans apply for benefits such as disability, or if they need home health care and they can't really afford it, there's a pension, so we can help them or their spouses get.
And it's veterans who have served our country, be it World War II, Korea,
Oh yeah.
Vietnam, or any of the other conflicts since then, including the Persian Gulf I and II, and any other conflicts that we were involved in. Any service to our country. And you don't have to be deployed overseas.
Nope.
No, you could be stationed hopefully right here in the United States, maybe even Hawaii. And still, it's our way of saying, as a country, thank you to people who step forward and volunteer, because essentially the Army, Navy, Marines, definitely Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, other services are all volunteer services, for the most part.
Yes.
So we don't have a draft anymore that I'm aware of. So these are volunteer. These are people, men and women, stepping forward. Obviously, there's a benefit because the Army brings some, or military service brings some sense of discipline to your life, and helps you focus a little bit more, where maybe you've just got out of high school or community college, you're not focused, you're not sure of a career. What a great thing to do, volunteer. Learn some type of craft or trade that you can take into the private sector, but also serve your country. So tell me about the typical person that stops by your office.
So the typical person that stops by our office, usually it's their first enlistment. They just completed it, they came home, and they want to learn about benefits. So a lot of times they're filing for disability compensation. What they don't realize is when you file for disability compensation, it's not about the money. You get also health care for that disability from the VA for free. So you can get free treatment, such as, I always say hearing loss is an important one, because you can get free hearing aids from the VA if you get service connected for hearing loss.
Right.
And a lot of people around my age are like, oh, it's no big deal, but it is a big deal later on. So
it's a much bigger deal. My father, who obviously passed, served in World War II, and he had his eardrums blown out, besides being full of shrapnel, from grenade attacks that he was involved in. And for the rest of his life, he never heard, what?
Yeah.
I'd always hear that because he could not hear. And he would go to the VA. He liked the VA, and he would go to the VA to be serviced for that and for his other infirmaries as a result of service-connected disabilities.
So it's very important that veterans apply for every injury that happened in service, because they don't know how it's going to affect them later on. It's never too late to file for disability. I still have World War II vets applying for disability. So,
And
it's
if I'm
very
not
important.
mistaken, not only do you get your health care provided, but you also maybe get a stipend,
Yes.
depending on how extensive your disability and how you can demonstrate that it was service related.
That is correct. So it goes by percentages.
Right.
But every disability is different. So ones go from 0%, then it goes 10, 20, 30, 40. Some of them go 0 to 10, and that's it. So
Right.
not every disability goes to 100, but it could be money that they can also be getting too that can help out.
It's a monthly stipend, and it's helpful, particularly to people that have suffered some type of injury as a result of their service to the country. What are some other things that you handle besides disability?
So besides disability and pensions, we also handle tax questions. So people want to know about the alternative veteran tax exemption. Usually we'll say, please contact your assessor, but we'll look at the DD 214 because we have to see if they served during a wartime, if they have veteran status, if they don't.
Right.
And the laws changed after September of 1980. It's no longer 1 day of active service. Now it's 90 days for a reservist and 2 years honorably with an active duty member.
So there are changes in the
There are
law that
changes.
affects people, and of course, a DD 214, for those who don't know, are your discharge papers.
That's correct.
Which, by the way, I'll put a little commercial in. You can file for free at the county clerk's office, and they'll give you a copy. So you'll always know where your DD 214, your
Yes.
discharge papers are, which is critical when they come in to see you because they have to provide the DD 214.
That is correct. It's important from school benefits, the VA home loan, to burial.
Right.
If you don't have that DD 214, it could delay services for the deceased. So,
We handled my father's without any help from the veterans, but what we did get is a plaque because he was a master sergeant in World War II. They put a plaque on his gravesite, which I'm sure my father is smiling and appreciating. For a lot of these guys and gals, particularly in wartime service, it's one of the most difficult things to do, but it's one of the most vivid memories they will have for the rest of their lives, and sometimes they'll talk about it. My father really didn't talk about much until he got much older, and then he reminisced because his memory of things long ago were far clearer than his
Yeah.
memory of things today before he died. So you help with benefits, so you can get benefits to go to school.
yep. So there's the post 9/11 GI Bill, and then the Montgomery GI Bill. In New York State, the post 9/11 is better because
Montgomery, is that Sonny Montgomery? It was a congressman from, I believe it was Alabama or Mississippi, that was a huge fan of veterans and fought for them in Congress.
that could possibly be why it's called the Montgomery GI Bill. So, but the post 9/11, it also gives you a monthly stipend as long as you're in full-time classes. I believe the Montgomery reimburses you, so
Right.
one pays up front, one reimburses you later on. So,
And full-time, of course, for people who would like to know, is at least 12 credits or more.
for bachelor's and associates, 12 credits or more, and masters, I think it's slightly less.
They're different, but yeah, 12 credits or more usually considered full-time. It's the same thing for the state aid for education for people who go to college if
That's
they
correct.
qualify.
And then the other very important benefit is the VA home loan. What's so great about the VA home loan, and I recently used it myself, is you don't have to put a down payment on the house because you were a veteran. It's only thing that you would have to pay for is a VA funding fee. But if you have a service-connected disability, it's waived.
Wow.
So you can essentially go in and pay nothing.
And own a house, and as long as you make the payments, you're good, but you don't have to do a huge down payment because now in the real estate market, people are looking for at least a 20% down
Yeah.
payment. Now, if you're buying a $500,000 house, that could be $100,000.
Yeah.
Even a $300,000 house, a 20% is $60,000.
Yeah.
It's pretty expensive
I would say.
to get that chunk of money together in today's economy, particularly if you're just starting out.
Yeah.
You just got out of the service, you got a job, you're going to school, boom. You get married, you want a house for your kids, whatever.
Yeah. So it's sad to hear that a lot of veterans do not utilize their benefits because they either get intimidated by the process or they weren't told about it, so they don't know. So it's great when they call our agency and ask questions about benefits, because I've had young vets call like, I don't know what I'm entitled to. Oh, when did you serve? I served from this year to this year. You get out honorably? Yeah, I got out honorably. Okay, well, these are the benefits you qualify for. If you didn't get out honorably, we do have some pro bono attorneys that will help assist in getting a discharge upgrade. It's not guaranteed, but you're entitled to your benefits, so I think you should fight for it.
So for even those who did not get an honorable, a less than honorable, not a dishonorable, but a less than honorable discharge, there are attorneys that do pro bono, which means free.
That's correct.
Work for people to help them upgrade their discharge status.
That's correct.
But for those who are honorable, you have a whole list of things that if people came and started to ask you questions, you could help. And again, the telephone number, just so people know, is 631-451-6574.
Yes, sir.
And you call, you make an appointment, or you can talk over the phone. Do you have a web page or email?
So the webpage, you can go to the Suffolk County Veterans Service Agency.gov. I'm pretty sure it's the site. They can Google us.
No.
It has all of our numbers on there.
But it's Suffolk County NY.
Yes.
Yeah,
Suffolk
and
County,
put
sorry.
the NY
yes,
in.
don't forget the NY.
There's other Suffolk counties, like there's a Suffolk County in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So it's Suffolk County NY.
And then our email, or my email, would be my first name dot last name.
Right.
So it'd be brian.rooney@suffolkcountyny.gov.
But one of the things that people should realize, and the reason we're sitting down and talking today, is because veterans help. They serve our country. They protect our country. When they've done their service, as a grateful nation, we should thank them. And we have a whole list of benefits as a way of thanking them. And too often, people don't take advantage of it. You know what? One of the saddest things I read about homeless veterans, and they don't realize that there are assistance that they can get that would help them get out of homelessness or help them put their life in the right order with counseling, psychological or otherwise.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that we can help our veterans with. And I think all Americans owe a debt of gratitude for those who serve. So, Brian, I'm expecting you to get some calls, some emails. I'm expecting some of the veterans here in Brookhaven town to have a much better knowledge of how this country wants to say thank you to them for their service. Brian, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Right.